Alright folks, I'm Chito Hadungs, and we're gathered here today to celebrate, to talk about the Isco Ultra Star. This review has been requested by my patrons and was made possible thanks to the guys at Vid-Atlantic, who borrowed me one of their lenses for as long as I need it. Okay, let's get to it. If I had to define this lens in one word, it would be sharp. The modern glass and coatings grant you edge-to-edge performance at the expense of flares. You'll see almost none of them. The other advantage of such sharpness is that you can go as fast as you want with your aperture with no disastrous image degradation. Oh, and no distortion either. Do you remember the edge distortion on the Kowa B&H? None of that. For the record, I'm doing these test shots using the Rectilux Hardcore DNA, as the Ultra Star is a projection lens and double focus setup by nature. Low light performance is quite nice, and due to the high quality of the glass, you can really see the oval bokeh. Let's begin by saying that the Isco on the name of this adapter is the same Isco in Iscorama, only a few decades later. So the image quality is there, but the single focus is not. These lenses are designed to pair with film projectors, so some of them come with taking lenses attached. And if your adapter looks too long or too big or too heavy, the taking lens is probably attached and you should take it off. But be careful while doing so because it can be a treacherous process. Use caution. The Ultra Star adapter comes in 3 different flavors. The first one is this golden with a beveled focus ring. The second generation is the one that I have here, and it is a darker shade of gold, is that even a word? And it has a smoother feel to it. And the third one, the most recent one, is the red one, which is basically the same look but red. And there are differences between them, but they're all very subtle, and I wouldn't consider any of them to be a deal breaker. The Ultra Star weighs around 500 grams, which is not super heavy, but also not super light. And for these tests, I was able to go without lens support. I was just shooting handheld, so it feels sturdy on the taking lens. Stretch is 2 times, so there's a lot of compression going on, which means super oval bokeh. And you need to rig this with clamps on the back and the front to attach it to a taking lens and to attach diopters or any other filters to it. In this case, I have the Vid-Atlantic basic clamp as well as their front and rear caps. And at $39, it is the cheapest option on the market. It is pretty basic indeed, but it gets the job done. And in the case of this lens, it fits perfectly around the rear element while giving me 52, 55, and 58mm filter threads to attach to my taking lenses. Using the clamp is also the best way to align the adapter properly. There are no buttons and you can have it on rails, but this is not the case for me. One thing I had no idea about this lens was its push-pull focus lock mechanism. You push the focus ring down and focus won't budge, and then you pull it forward and you can adjust focusing again. And I guess this is super useful if you have a projector because the distance to the screen will never change. Anyway, this was just a curiosity, a thing that I figured out while playing with it that I never heard about and wanted to throw in. For many reasons mentioned before, I'm not a super fan of projection lenses because they're double focus. Their double focus is too time consuming, which is why I'm using the Hardcore DNA here. And they tend to become a long train of lenses in front of your taking lens, and it all gets too front heavy. All of this applies to the Ultra Star. Strangely enough, modern optics tend to go lower than their vintage counterparts, and the Isco Ultra Star has quite a variable price range, from good deals at $150 all the way up to $450. I won't go as far as to say that they are hard to find, but there are definitely seasons. There are times when they are widely available and you can get one for super cheap, and there are times where they're super hard to find and all you can track is the high-priced ones. So keep your eyes peeled and your eBay alerts active. As I said in the beginning, sharp is the word to define this adapter. Not Iscorama sharp, I mean Zeiss sharp, Canon L sharp, Tech sharp at f1.4. It follows the performance of the Taken lenses impeccably, and I can't spot blooming, washing, or any of those pesky vintage artifacts. For flares, the Ultra Star behaves similarly to the Cinelux. Very subtle green flares, usually caused by strong light sources. The red version has even less flares due to stronger coatings. You can always try to cheat your way around it and increase flares by using UV filters. Check this other video for a better understanding of the technique. Surprisingly, you'll be fine with a 50mm on full frame. Then 2.66 at 58mm with the Galios 44 and 3.56 above 70mm, more commonly 85mm. I wasn't expecting to go so wide for a CinemaScope crop. It was a nice surprise. Take into account that a single focus solution will increase vignetting in all of these numbers. The Isco Ultra Star made me swallow my dissatisfaction with this type of adapter, that is modern projection lens. Its compact form matched with its unmatched optical performance delivers quite a powerful piece of gear. I was able to go wider than I originally expected, handling the lens was easier than I expected, and the anamorphic look is definitely there. Sure, the flares are not, but for the people who aren't after flares, this is a gold mine, pun intended. Now I understand all the praise for this adapter when it comes to beginner anamorphics, and it can be had for cheap too. I would like to thank Vid-Atlantic for providing me this lens and not rushing me to review it and ship it back. And I would also like to thank my patrons for encouraging me to tackle this review much earlier than I originally expected. You should definitely join us over on Patreon for more exclusive rewards and knowledge ahead of time. If you like this video, hit the like button below, leave your praise in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more anamorphic stuff. Also, if you're feeling bored, check the archives. I'm Chito Ferradanz, and I'll see you next week.